Hey everyone, welcome to Wax Pack Wisdom. I'm Jake T. O'Donnell. As you can see, I made it back safely from Chicago. Today's Friday. It's late in the day. The Red Sox just won in a walk-off. Having Roman Anthony on your baseball team is the best. I wouldn't, I would recommend having Roman Anthony on your baseball team. But anyway, you didn't watch this to hear me talk about the Red Sox. Today was the last of the 3 days that we attended the National. And because of our flight, we were really only there for about an hour and a half or so this morning. I'm going to show a little bit of footage. It's pretty much mostly just from the Huggins and Scott booth, and I'm gonna roll that right now. So we're at the Huggins and Scott booth, and they have original artwork from the 1934 Diamond Stars set in their upcoming auction. There's Mel Ott, card I recently bought, and there's Jimmy Fox. They also have some amazing M116s. Looks like Reach Official American League Baseball figural. Some Providence uniforms. There's Ozzie Smith's 1980 Gold Glove. It's amazing. And then some great original photos here. There's Mickey Mantle and Ted Williams. And also, there's information about Huggins and Scott. I bought from them before the auction. Check them out. Okay, so yeah, pretty incredible stuff there. That Diamond Stars art is amazing. But yeah, just walked the show floor a little bit, and got some small stuff, and Abby got some small stuff too for a couple of narrative projects that we're working on. I promise you that these are not going to be mysteries for a long time. I know that I've hinted at least at mine for a while. Abby's working on one herself too, and you'll see about those soon enough, and we're excited to share them. But I picked up some small things. I wanted to shout out Richard Budnick and his wife, America's Pastime. Great folks. They set up on all of the East Coast shows. Check them out. And they set up at the National, and they're just wonderful people. And we bought some raw stuff from their binders. They set up with their binders at every show. And so I just wanted to shout them out. But as far as other pickups go, I only made one other slab pickup today before I left. And I spent $100 on it, and it was a card that I had seen at a table. And I want to shout out the dealer. I wrote their name down. It was Lutfa Vintage Cards, Lutfa Vintage Cards. They had some really interesting stuff at their table. I think there were maybe a couple dealers set up there, including some really old stuff. But they had a bunch of Cuban issues from the 40s, that era, and I didn't own any cards from any of those sets. And I picked up this as my last pickup at the National. Was this 1945 to 46 Caramelo Deportivo, which means sports candy, of Armando Marsans, who is a Cuban baseball legend. And this is from his days as manager. You can see the back is in Spanish there. He was a manager in Cuba at this point, but again, a Cuban baseball legend and baseball pioneer. He was one of the first Cuban regular players in the major leagues during the 1910s, 1911 to 1918. He played for a few different teams. He broke in with the Reds, and he wasn't the first to play in the big leagues, but he was one of the first regulars, and he had the longest career of anybody from that era who was from Cuba. And just thrilled to own his card. He was like a kind of a speedy kind of outfielder type guy. He had, I think, 46 stolen bases one year and was a 300 hitter early in his career. But so I was really honored to get this card. And I thought as a SGC 1.5, it was in really good shape. Such a cool card. And I want to get more. This is maybe going to be one of my next frontiers, is to get more cards from these sets. Some of them are tougher than others. But really happy to add this card of Armando Marsans. to my PC. So this was the last of the pickups. And so I encourage folks to watch my other pickup videos from the last 2 days to see. Day 2 was when I got the most cards. Day 1 was when I got my biggest card, which is my N28 King Kelly. And I'm going to talk about sort of overall thoughts and impressions on the National in just a second. But before I do that, we got home and it was a mail day. I had my CGC order came back. My first ever submission to CGC was a dual authentication CGC and JSA autograph authentication of the Fran Tarkenton post-serial rookie card that was part of my collection that my dad and I put together back in the 90s. And 1962 post-serial, and I had sent that TTM to Fran Tarkenton, my first ever TTM. He autographed it. I got it back and decided to do a submission to CGC and JSA instead of PSA because of the issues with PSA that I've talked about. I would say that the turnaround was basically about a month. I'm not sure exactly the number of business days, but it was basically about a month. It was basically, right now if you're sending something to SGC, about how long it takes to get something back from CGC. And with a name like JSA attached to it, it's great stuff. So this came today, and here it is. I had it dual authenticated, and I'll turn it around, but you can see that it got it was just going to get graded authentic anyway because of the way it was cut, and it got an 8 on the auto. And so there you go. My Fran Tarkenton rookie card is back, and I love it. And it's the blank back. But I think that the CGC slabs are really nice. And I might send sort of a regular vintage order or maybe a modern order. Maybe I'll send more modern cards to them if I want to get stuff graded as opposed to sending it to PSA. But very happy with the turnarounds. Very happy with the result here, getting the 8 on the auto, which I think is a fair grade on the auto. And now I got this slab. So cool journey for this card, but I love having an autographed Fran Tarkenton rookie card that is from my original PC going way back. So all right, so that was that came today, and I just wanted to share that too. But the National, I'll have more to talk about on I'm going to record the next episode of the Hit List with Matt from Providence on Tuesday. And that'll come out on Wednesday, and you are not going to want to miss that because Matt has some opinions about the National, and I got a preview of it at dinner last night, and wait till you hear what he has to say, and it's going to be entertaining. You are not going to want to miss it. But overall, I think that Abby and I got so much out of this experience, not just the cards added to the BC, just the overall experience of being in that room and seeing all of those dealers, so many great dealers, and so many great cards, every great card that you would ever imagine, and all of the auction houses, and seeing all of the amazing things, the Wagners and the Ruths and the Cobbs and the Michael Jordans and everything, all there in one place. I don't know that I was prepared for what it was going to be like and how it was, but it was just special. I recommend that everybody that's a collector should at least try to go once. I don't know that the National is going to be something that I do or that we do every year, but I am so thankful to have had that experience as a collector. I think maybe it's not for everybody because it's so overwhelming and there's so much walking to do and so much to happen. I know there was a lot of walking that happened for me outside of the show, but I did register on the health app on my iPhone 27,000 steps yesterday on Thursday, which is maybe a record for me. I looked it up as something like potentially like 13 miles. I don't know how my body, but I'm tired and my body is tired for sure. And but it was all worth it. And the bottom line is that more than anything else, this was about the people. The cards were amazing. and I added cards to my PC that I'm going to have forever. But I also grew friendships that started here on YouTube, and getting to spend time with amazing people was really what this was about. That was what I was looking forward to the most, and that's what lived up to the expectations. I wish I could have spent more time with certain folks, with everybody. I wish I could have, I wish I could have spent. There's a lot of people I wish I could have spent more time with, but it is an honor to be part of this community. One thing that stood out to me is the generosity of people, of people like I showed Tony Talks Cards, just an incredibly nice person, and my wife Abby and I got to speak to him for a while at the Wednesday night show, or the Wednesday night event, just so gracious and giving me a pack of cards was just so nice. But the generosity is, and the story that I wanted to tell was Thursday night, last night. As folks know by now, the YouTube get together that was set up by Mike Moynihan, baseball collector, got broken up at the embassy suites because it was against the hotel policy and the way that they've been handling things in terms of unsanctioned events with the National. I would go back and watch Mike's video, and the whole thing was a bummer. From at that point that happened, I went to a restaurant with a few of the other YouTube guys after that, but I understand that they did make a picnic out of it, and I think that's wonderful, and I'm so glad that it turned into a positive. And shout out to Mike too, who gave me a shout out in his pickup video from before that. He bought the double Cobb Hassan triple folder, and again, I'm glad that things worked out. That people did end up having a good time on Thursday night. But a bunch of us went to a restaurant, and it was a great time. It was a great experience because spending time with all those guys is amazing. Unfortunately, the restaurant we went to was pretty short-staffed, and it took a very long time for the food to come out. And Abby and I ordered some food, and unfortunately, we were one of the last. The food kind of came out in waves after we had waited for literally about 2 hours from the time we got there to finally eat. And our food was coming out last, and just about everybody at the table started offering us their food. Like Darren, Return to Collecting, was like offering us his cheese curds, and Greg was like offering us half his sandwich, and people were just like, oh, have some of my food, like whatever, because we'd all waited so long for food. I just thought that was like indicative of what the community is like. That people will give you food off their plate, and it's special. It is special. And just on a more personal note, if you've watched this channel for a while, you've known that I've had a lot of health challenges over the last 11 months, dating back to the beginning of September of last year. I had 2 major surgeries on my colon. And the last one was 8 weeks ago. And I was concerned that we weren't going to be able to go on this trip. But I feel great. I made it through this week intact. And this was a big milestone. This was something that we were looking forward to this whole time over the course of because we had planned this trip to Chicago earlier. Like basically it was basically a year ago. It was, the National was going on in Cleveland last year. And this was a big milestone. This is something we'd been looking forward to all along while I was going through all of my health struggles. And going through this, I wouldn't have wanted to miss it, and I wouldn't trade it for anything. And I thank everybody for their support. I thank everybody for, it was really nice to have multiple people come up to me, not, other YouTubers, but also people that watch the channel that have known about what I've gone through health-wise, that just asked how I'm doing, how my recovery's been going, and wanted to kind of know about more of what was going on. That was really, that meant a lot to me to have people ask me those questions. And, but I'm incredibly lucky. I'm incredibly lucky that this channel this has just been this outlet for me to talk about history, but also talk about cards and talk about baseball. Get to talk about people like Armando Marsans. Like, the reason why we talk about how we keep alive the knowledge and memory of a pioneer in the sport in 2025 who made their mark over 100 years ago is because I can hold one of his cards in my hand. And so getting to do the channel and not just that, but like getting to meet people and getting to be part of this community. It's meant the world to me, and being part of the National and being there, I don't know. I'm a lucky guy. I'm lucky to be alive. I'm lucky to be here, but I'm lucky to be in this hobby and be in this community. And if you watch this channel, if you subscribe to this channel, if you interact with it in any way, I just want to say thank you from the bottom of my heart. A lot of great stuff to come. Again, I'm going to talk more about the experience, more about the cards on the next episode of the Hit List, which will come out on Wednesday. So stay tuned for that. So thanks so much for watching. The usual run through here. ComC store link is below. Check out where to follow us on social media. And check out our list of favorite nonprofits and charities. It would mean a lot if you could support one of them. So thanks so much for watching this edition of Wax Pack Wisdom. We'll see you next time on Wax Pack Wisdom. Take care.